Hi Rachel, thank you for joining us again. We will continue to talk about personal data officer. By the end of November, certain companies in Peru will be required to have a personal data officer. Although the requirements in Europe are different from Peru, generally speaking, what is the role of a personal data officer?
Thanks, Julia. In my experience, the role of the Data Protection Officer, or the DPO, is to advise a controller on its data protection obligations, monitor compliance within the organisation, and to act as a contact point for data subjects and data protection authorities. The role of the DPO is therefore relevant throughout the entire organisation because the DPO shares their expertise with management to ensure compliance with data protection law at the highest level. But the DPO also raises awareness throughout the organisation and serves as an internal contact point as well for any questions relating to data protection.
From your experience, which individuals within a company usually take on this role?
This will depend on the size of the organisation and the scale of its processing. So for example, sophisticated organisations that process data on a large scale will often have dedicated DPOs that don't act in any other capacity, but smaller entities might instead choose to appoint a DPO that also acts in another role. In all cases, the two crucial requirements under the GDPR are expertise and independence. In relation to expertise, a DPO must have knowledge of data protection law and practice and the ability to fulfil their statutory tasks. The level of expertise will vary though, depending on the sensitivity, complexity and volume of the data being processed by the organisation. In relation to independence, the DPO must be able to act autonomously and must not receive instructions in relation to the performance of their role. In order to act independently, it's really important that the DPO avoids conflicts of interest. This means that if they are required to make decisions about the purposes and means of processing personal data in another capacity, they won't be an appropriate DPO. As a general rule, conflicting roles could include senior management, such as a chief operating officer, or a head of a department, such as the head of IT. Less senior roles, though, should still be avoided if they are going to involve determining purposes and means of processing personal data. Outside of this, there is no typical profile for serving as a DPO, and so provided you're meeting the conditions of expertise and independence, the organisation does have some flexibility in this respect.
Interesting. I would say that companies in Peru also have some flexibility. They can appoint a person that develops other roles inside the company. They can also appoint an external person, or they can have a DPO for an entire economic group, for example. Well, thank you, Rachel, for sharing your experience with us.
Thank you for having me, Julia. It's been a pleasure.